Welcome to my video game channel where I make video game reviews and talk about gaming related topics and, well, other shit. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting topic from one of my favorite video game franchises, Halo. And don't get me wrong, this topic can apply to many games, but the easiest way for me to dissect this topic inch by inch is by looking through Halo itself. Now, the topic that I will be divulging my opinion on is that an increased quality in graphics has caused a noticeable decrease in the artistic style of games. And to prove my point, I'll be going back to Halo 3 and then progressing through Halo Reach and Halo 4 to show you exactly what I mean.
Now, Halo has always been used as an artistic platform through the years, using the many options in the game to create maps, levels, montages, machinimas, and even more. So looking at Halo from an artistic point of view is a very simple thing to do. But we won't be looking into these aspects. No, we'll be using these aspects to evaluate the artistic design of the game itself.
First off, I'd like to get the simple argument out of the way by explaining to you why Halo Reach is the ugliest Halo game ever made. Now, to all the Halo Reach fans out there, I really just have to say, there's no Halo Reach fans.
Halo Reach is easily the ugliest Halo in the series. Even when taking professionally made montages like Muggsy's lethal and formal montage, it's easy to see the flaws that were made in this game artistically. Everything is so dark and dirty, and not in a good way. It hurts the eyes to look at and is a giant eyesore. Levels like Countdown have almost zero color variation between walls and structures, with tons of gray. And even more colorful levels like Zealot, which is colored in purples, is somehow not enjoyable to the eyes.
The purple is everywhere, with no color variation, no shading, and no separation. Comparing this mess to Heretic from Halo 3 is, well, it's just sad. Halo 3's Heretic's color choices are beautiful. The blues blend perfectly well into the purples that then again blend perfectly well into the red, allowing you to tell which side of the map belongs to which team without having to look at little tiny ugly lights on the floor.
And sadly, Halo Reach's main disc maps were not overly loved, especially with a super small choice of small to mid-ranged maps, and matchmaking community was heavily under pressure to come up with maps for Halo Reach. And guess what that means? Over half of the maps in the Team Slayer playlist are made in Forge. And guess how the Forge maps look in Halo Reach? Gray. Seeing a pattern going on here?
Having to stare at a continuous stream of gray maps that all look the same artistically can become a huge eyesore. And I just have to say the main maps on the disc don't help at all. They're all gray and dark and gray. They're all gray! I can see what they're trying to do with the models and the world itself by upping the graphics and the quality, but if your artistic style looks like shit, that won't help your quality at all. And never mind the fact that Reach is probably the main reason that Halo has died out. But that's for a different video. Alright, now it's time to dive into the meat of this topic. Halo 3 versus Halo 4. Now, don't get me wrong, Halo 4 is still outstandingly graphically impressive and beautiful in so many ways. But I would like to argue that even with Halo 4's 5 years of enhanced graphics, Halo 3 still stands the test of time as one of the best Halo games artistically.
First off, we need to understand the pieces of art we have to examine, and those pieces of art are the multiplayer levels in each game. And if you're wondering why I'm constantly talking about the multiplayer and not the campaign, that's because multiplayer is where most players will spend their time and where most of the development time went, and where most of the love and caring in designing the game was put. So Halo 3 consists of a total of 11 maps pre-DLC, with 7 small maps and 4 large maps, while Halo 4 has 13 maps but 8 large and 5 small, which is pretty much the mere reflection of each other. And guess what this means? Since the smaller maps are underlooked in Halo 4 and the most played game types are the ones that require small to medium-sized maps, there was a large lack of maps for people to play on again, causing a reach effect, where the community was forced to make Forge maps for the game.
But thankfully 343 learned from Bungie's mistakes and allowed you to make Forge maps on multiple different levels, allowing for different style and variation, though these styles were usually stuck to one color variant, which made the levels kind of bland and flat.
Halo 3 on the other hand had a ton of small size maps that all looked gorgeous and were fun to play on. They were colorful and they were designed in a way that didn't distract you from the gameplay. You could just look where you're going and realize that, hey, I'm in the blue base, without having to go out of your way to look somewhere for a sign of where you're at. A great comparison for this is Haven from Halo 4, a very symmetrical map that I myself enjoy very much, but it falls victim to the same problem that Reach did. Gray level design with no color to help you figure out your coordinates on spawn. Even just taking the two different color Spartans and putting them next to each other and examining how they look, I personally think the Halo 3 Spartan looks much better. You can see through these images how much the Bungie team cared about contrasting colors. They didn't just pick a red and a blue and made the characters that color. No, they carefully picked a color and extremely contrasted the other, allowing enemy players to pop out quite a bit more in your base and allowing you to blend in a bit more within your own base.
This is perfect artistic design, thinking outside of the box, using your artistic design to enhance the gameplay itself. And I think that's something Halo 4 just didn't bring to the table.
Yes, everything looks beautiful and the sky and background scenery is definitely better in Halo 4 than in Halo 3, but when it comes down to how the artistic design improves gameplay, there's really nothing in Halo 4. You're just a pretty character walking through pretty hallways.
It's something that's really hard to explain, but I think it's something that kind of explains itself by just looking at the gameplay. You can see the love and beauty that was put into Halo 3 that made it so beautiful, compared to Halo Reach that just makes you want to rip your eyes out. But Halo 4 was definitely a step back in the right direction, and I just think 343 needs to realize that Halo isn't a realistic game. Yes, Call of Duty and Battlefield can get away with this, but that's because you're a real person in a real war, depending on which game you're playing and which franchise. But I really think 343 just needs to see that they need to step out of the box, use some crazy colors, create their own definition of reality, and remember that gray is ugly as fuck. Thank you for watching. I really hope you can now see how an artistic style can change a game in the most major of ways.